The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. When you reach the end of your rope, tie a knot in it and hang on. Happiness lies in the joy of achievement and the thrill of creative effort. The test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much, it is whether we provide enough for those who have too little. In politics, nothing happens by accident. If it happens, you can bet it was planned that way. A nation that destroys its soil destroys itself. We cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future. The truth is found when men are free to pursue it. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our doubts of today. Men are not prisoners of fate, but only prisoners of their own minds. The only sure bulwark of continuing liberty is a government strong enough to protect the interests of the people. There are many ways of going forward, but only one way of standing still. We have always held to the hope, the belief, the conviction that there is a better life, a better world, beyond the horizon. It is common sense to take a method and try it. If it fails, admit it frankly and try another. But above all, try something. No government can help the destinies of people who insist in putting sectional and class consciousness ahead of general weal. I ask you to judge me by the enemies I have made. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror which paralyzes needed efforts to convert retreat into advance. Be sincere, be brief, be seated. Courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the assessment that something else is more important than fear. The virtues are lost in self-interest as rivers are lost in the sea. Remember always, that all of us, and you and I especially, are descended from immigrants and revolutionists. In our personal ambitions, we are individualists. But in our seeking for economic and political progress as a nation, we all go up, or else all go down as one people. Democracy cannot succeed unless those who express their choice are prepared to choose wisely. Human kindness has never weakened the stamina or softened the fiber of a free people. We are a nation of many nationalities, many races, many religions, bound together by a single unity, the unity of freedom and equality. Self-interest is the enemy of all true affection. True individual freedom cannot exist without economic security and independence. There is a mysterious cycle in human events. To some generations, much is given. Of other generations, much is expected. A conservative is a man with two perfectly good legs who, however, has never learned how to walk forward. Repetition does not transform a lie into a truth. The lessons of history, confirmed by the evidence immediately before me, show conclusively that continued dependence upon relief induces a spiritual and moral disintegration fundamentally destructive to the national fiber. To reach a port, we must set sail, not tie at anchor, sail, not drift. Competition has been shown to be useful up to a certain point and no further, but cooperation, which is the thing we must strive for today, begins where competition leaves off. It is an unfortunate human failing that a full pocketbook often groans more loudly than an empty stomach. Those who have long enjoyed such privileges as we enjoy forget in time that men have died to win them. No man can tame a tiger into a kitten by stroking it. I am neither bitter nor cynical, but I do wish there was less immaturity in political thinking. A radical is a man with both feet firmly planted in the air. Take a method and try it. If it fails, admit it frankly and try another. But above all, try something. This generation has a rendezvous with destiny. A democratic government is a government of the people. It is therefore as strong as the people want it to be. The liberty of a democracy is not safe if the people tolerate the growth of private power to a point where it becomes stronger than their democratic state itself. The best way to guarantee peace is to remove the causes of war. Happiness is not in the mere possession of money. It lies in the joy of achievement, in the thrill of creative effort. We may not be able to prepare the future for our children, but we can at least prepare our children for the future. There is nothing so American as our national parks. Peace, like charity, begins at home. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Taxes, after all, are dues that we pay for the privileges of membership in an organized society. Governments can err, presidents do make mistakes, but the immortal Dante tells us that divine justice weighs the sins of the cold-blooded and the sins of the warm-hearted in different scales. We must scrupulously guard the civil rights and civil liberties of all citizens, whatever their background. In the truest sense, freedom cannot be bestowed, it must be achieved. If civilization is to survive, we must cultivate the science of human relationships. We must be the great arsenal of democracy. The nation that destroys its soil destroys itself. If you treat people right, they will treat you right 90% of the time. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow is our doubts of today. The truth is found when men are free to pursue it. If you treat people right, they will treat you right 90% of the time. Confidence thrives on honesty, on honor, on the sacredness of obligations, on faithful protection, and on unselfish performance.